Welcome back to Tools and Track. The name is Bond, Panel Bond. Right, so today's objective is obviously to bond in panels. We kind of alluded to that last time we were on the Locost, and it is still our principal target. So, let's have a quick recap on this list of complete and utter nonsense. Clutch, modding the chassis. We've actually got that done, so I'm going to scratch that out the way. We'll come back to the clutch later on, obviously, because I'll still need to deal with that slave cylinder and master cylinder fiasco, but we've got a solution for the chassis, so that's the main thing. Panels, that's going to be today's big hitter. My target is to at least get the floors bonded on. Now, that means I'm going to have to get all the rest of the stuff that goes near the floor dealt with. Mounting steering shaft. That's also kind of done, if I'm being honest. We've got that last shaft mount dealt with. I'm going to give it a wee tidy up off camera, obviously. But another thing off the list. Brakes, they're getting done by somebody else. Handbrake, we're going to have to look at, but first I need to get the panelling done for the back seat. Where the handbrake passes through at the back of the seats, that is actually going to have to be panelled first, so I can work out how I then deal with the handbrake rather than the other way around. So that'll stay on the list. Seats, however, definitely going to have a look at that today. I have a plan and we'll get to that, but fuel system, that's an engine thing, and bodywork, well, one thing at a time, guys. Right, let's kick off with a little montage. Get up to speed, get caught up, get a move on. Well, I did say skip to the end. We certainly have accelerated at quite a rate. Now, let's have a wee recap, because I've done a lot of things and you might think, well, you're not really bonding floors in, what's going on? We have to deal with all of the things around about the floor before we can bond the floor in. Remember, once it's in for good. Now I've got all the side panels that I need to deal with glue cut. We're doing the back panel now, and as you can see, if I can chop it in half, I'll explain why in a minute. That just leaves us with the seat, actually. Now, I did say I would come back to the seat because it's going to have a part to play in the floor. So let's just quickly deal with that now. Put these two bars in, and they are spaced exactly the distance that these holes are. Now, the reason for that is quite simply put. If I want to bolt that straight to the floor to get somebody of, say, mechanical holder size in there, we can do that and it'll bolt straight to the chassis. What I might do is set a set of adapters to offset that, raise it, adjust it, and alter it if I need to. But to be quite honest, the level of adjustment needed with the passenger seat is nil. Therefore, we're done. That's all I need to worry about there. We'll drill a wee few holes in this guy that we've just added underneath before we put that entire floor panel in, but that'll kind of do for now. This, you'll be wondering why I've just chopped in half. Well, that surgery was kind of required because of these posts we've put in. Now remember, one was offset, so it's quite easy for me to put this whole panel in like that and roof it down. However, this one here, well, that's not. So I need to put a wee plate, well, I guess, tab in there to catch that for rivets. When that tab's in place, and bear in mind how tight I want to get all of this so that it looks neat, I can't actually slot that in and click it. It's just not flexible enough. Therefore, we've just cut ever so slightly. I say ever so slightly, completely cut in half. But that'll click in there, rivet all the way around this square pattern, and then the rest of this guy, that all takes up the slack, and we will rivet all around here. Now, I have got these bottom panels here bent and touching, and we've drilled and piloted all of these holes. This is now ready to go, but this is fucked. Why? This. I can't get the drill in to sort these holes because that bar there is intruding. Which is a bit of an absolute pain in the fucking arse, frankly, because I did say at the end of the last episode I'm going to get one of those 90-degree drills. I still haven't. So, well, I have. I've ordered it, but it's not arrived yet. So that's kind of postponing things a wee bit because there are other bits that I kind of want to drill with that as well. I don't have it yet. So what I'm going to start doing now instead is we'll finish off the big back plate because this bar along here sits at a different angle from all of this. So I'm going to have to put a bend, like all the way across there to bend that this way so that it will rivet straight. So we'll deal with that, we'll get it tidied up. We'll also tidy up a lot of the rest of the panels. But the next stage before we bond in the floors is going to be paint, which might seem really odd. Why are we dealing with paint before we even bond the stuff in? Well, it all comes down with masking. Imagine, if you will, the following. There's two chassis rails, inch by inch box section, and that's the floor plate that we're going to put on. Now bear in mind that we are going to rivet into this as so. We're also going to glue into here. Now that's fine. The problem is, I need to make sure that the surface prep on this face here is spotless. That means buffed, cleaned, polished, degreased, the lot. It has to be spot on. That's fine. However, this surface here, here and here, well, that's going to be bare metal. Now it's already flashed off and rusting. So if I take this back and then bond on all of this, I still have three sides of rusty metal that I need to deal with. And how do you deal with rusty metal? Wire brush. So if I wire brush here and here, it is going to naz the entire surface of this shiny aluminium. Ergo, vis-a-vis concordantly, I need to get that in primer, except for this face, before that goes on. I told you this would be complicated. So, anything that's based around about the floor area, i.e. any of the lower chassis rails throughout the whole car, I'm going to flip around, buff down and get in primer, with the exception of the bottom faces. Because remember, we're gluing in a batch. I've only got one shot at the glue, therefore I want to get like 5 or 6 panels on in the one. So I need to strip all this down, flip it upside down, prep it all, and then it's time for bonding. I promise that it's time for bonding then, because I am sick of looking at this bear as well. The best part about being a grown-up is you can make it Christmas any day of the week. I've realised that I don't often talk about tool maintenance, more often than not because most of the tools you buy are either hammers, spanners, or other blunt instruments that really don't need much in the way of maintenance. Now this has just come straight out of the bag like this. I'm obviously going to make it run on quick lock fittings, in my instances these guys. You do get stump pair ones in different designs, but for me, my compressor runs that, so that's what we're going to use. I like to run a wee bit of PTFE around the tape. Now, yes, people will say this is an MPT, which is actually a tapered thread if you look at it. So if it tapers, it should seal. But there's no harm in giving it a wee bit of extra lubrication, just so that if you ever need to take it back out again, it's not become an integral part of the tool. Running anti-clockwise, or in the opposite direction of the thread, 2 tons of this. People go mental with PTFE, like banding it round and round and round 300 times. You only need 2 tons of it. Once you run the thread in, that's it. So that's us. Obviously you run it backwards, because when you screw it in, it means it will keep wrapping it as it goes around. If you do it the other way and you screw in, it might start unraveling. So there we go. Give it a nip. There we go. A strange little bumpy thing. Well, we'll have a play with it and see. First thing I'll need to do though, is see if it's going to do the job we want it to do. There's a weld I forgot. We'll get that in a minute. Anyway, so this is it. We'll need an extra at least 5mm on the tip, just so I've got a drill bit in place. But already, no, it's not going to do the job we wanted it to do. So that's annoying, but small wins. It will just about fit in here, so that solves the problem of how we're going to sheet up the transmission tunnel. Because like I said, I wanted to mount the sheets internal to here, which means we'd need to drill the holes to rivet it there. In the meantime though, we're going to have to find a more cunning solution for this. That's a lot of rivets. Try to think what that reminds me of, but nothing's coming to mind right now. A box. Anyway, our pilot holes are all drilled. The rivets are all in. Everything seems to be lining up okay, apart from one really obvious thing. I don't have enough rivets. I rather foolishly thought 100 would be enough, because 100's a lot. No, 100's not a lot, in the slightest when you're drilling holes 70mm apart. So I'm not going to start this glue process until I have all the rivets I need. I've also piloted these up to make sure this all fits. However, I'm not really wanting to start here. I think I'm actually going to start these 2 side panels, simply because when the floor's on, the side panels are going to be nigh on and impossible to do. But I'm prepping here. We've got nice shiny surfaces. We've got pilot holes drilled. I'm one step away from being able to bond. I love tickling the balls. Right, here's what we still have to do. If you look really closely at the ones that I've managed to get all the way in, such as this guy, you'll notice it's not in because countersinking. We still need to do that. I want these rivets to be flush, so we're gonna have to run a little countersink in here just to make sure that when we do final rivet, they go in perfectly and there's no more dramas. Now, the problem with that is, how do I countersink over 100 holes perfectly? Well, we measure the first one, and we take it from there. Yep, I'm sitting banging these in the hole, still wondering why they won't go in right. What did I say at the start of this? 4.6, not 4. So I'll need to widen these out, but by all accounts, once that's done, these flush boys, ready to go. A widen and a glue match, I think. got to a point where I'm about to start gluing, finally. So,
Hey, sniffing glue time.
obviously everybody's here to laugh at me, because I'm not going to get this right. But the first panel I'm going to put on is this one here, which is the passenger inner kickwell thing. Now, I went around the whole of the chassis and we've buffed it back and got it look nice. And we'll just degrease it all with, well, paint thinner, believe it or not, but it's the best I can come up with. So we've just done this panel as well. And I've got this guy ready to go, and I'm going to prep these guys ready to go in case the batch of glue I've got is far too much. So now I can put on that, and I can put on these two, and it's not going to hinder me with anything else. I'm going to mix up my batch of glue in this, which is a little cup and a set of electronic scales.
That is
normally
drug
found.
paraphernalia if ever I've seen it.
Eh?
It's drug paraphernalia if ever I've seen it.
Do you want to know where I found this set of scales? In that car.
In my car?
Yeah.
Right,
It comes with them as standard.
Why do 3M call everything Scotch? Have you noticed that? Scotch Print is the name of their vinyl range. And that's Scotch something.
That's very
It's that
Right, so I've mixed up a batch. Kind of looks like that now. I'm not going to out, we're just going to get right into it and see if we can get one. Can somebody dig out the rivet gun from under there? I don't know how much this is meant to need, but I'm putting on a fairly
liberal dose.
thick dollop.
That can only end.
Right.
That is unfortunate.
Yep. Isn't it? Doesn't seem like I break it off, which is even better than good. Carry on though. And this is missing the back bit. So no, it's not got it gun. Mint. That's f***ing great.
Yep.
Well, that came very close to being an absolute f***ing disaster. So, what went wrong there? Well, let's do some analysis actually. First up, despite 3 episodes worth of preparation, I didn't prepare to actually put that panel on. I had none of my tools ready, I hadn't checked that my rivet gun worked, and I panicked. And another reason that I panicked was the glue. So, as soon as I'd mixed that, I was like, right, this is instantly going to set, so immediately put it on the car. What I should have maybe done is a small batch first, just to see what the flash point where it gets tacky is, because I was expecting it to be like 30 seconds or whatever. It was at least an hour. Once I'd got those 3 panels done and fixed the rivet gun and everything else, which I won't bore you with, we did narrowly get away with that. I left this out just to see how long would it take. And A, I'm pleased to announce that it does cure, but B, we had a good hour before we actually seen that starting to kind of, you know, crackle up and go all hard like. That was my first batch done. We've got the 2 front panels and the side panel on. So what we're going to do now is finish up by putting on the other side panel and the 2 foot panels on. Montage! Yeah, I'm done. My manual rivet gun is misery incarnate, so I'm knocking this on the head. I'm going to go home and look and see how much air powered ones are. Probably going to balk at that and then continue to hand rivet because I'm a tight Scotsman. Anyway, that's it from the moment. We've got it underway, so that's a good start. Hopefully by the next episode we should have something resembling a chassis that you can sit in and not die from stones. All the Patreons running up the side of the screen, massive support, appreciate the help, all that jazz. If you don't know what it's about, patreon.com/nose-and-track. Jump on, help a brother out, help build this amazing thing. Look at it. If that's not for you, fine. Like, subscribe, bell, all that shit, frankly. And if that's not for you, cool. Stick around anyway. We'll be back with more of this nonsense next week. And until then, drive safe, guys.
So when things, because we're going to bat, because